everybody, it's Dr. Joe, and today I'm going to talk about stretches and exercises to relieve knee pain. I want to thank Camvivo for sponsoring the video, and this is their advanced knee support with side stabilizers. If you're interested in finding out more about their products, you can click on the link up there. Now, a lot of people ask me if I'm using a knee support or a brace, should I use it while I'm doing my therapy? Well, yes and no. If you can do your therapy exercises without it, then that actually helps work on the muscles some. But sometimes you can't and you have to have the brace on. So I'm going to do my stretches and exercises without it. But again, if you need to and your therapist has told you to use it, then definitely use it. So the first one is just going to be working on the quad, but before we go into those, if you want to pause real quick, you'll need like a stretch strap or a belt or a dog leash if you have one, but something solid to do some of the stretches just to make it a little bit easier. So we're going to go in first into a quad set. And so quad set is basically an isometric exercise to work the quad. And it's an easier exercise, but if you have a lot of knee pain, it's a nice way to start because a set or an isometric exercise is when you're activating the muscle, but you're not really making a big movement or movement at all that might cause the knee pain. So with a quad set, the important part is to try and keep your heel down while you're doing the exercise. A lot of times people will want to lift it up. That actually changes the exercise into movement, so it's not an isometric exercise anymore. So try and keep that heel down. If you can't straighten your knee out all the way, that's okay. You can put a little towel roll underneath to support it and give yourself a target, but you don't need that. All you're going to do is take your knee and try and push it down into the bed, the couch, the floor, wherever you are, and that's going to activate that quad muscle right there. Hold it for about 3 to 5 seconds and then relax. If that's a little bit painful, don't feel like you have to push as hard as you can. You can just do 20 to 30 seconds, 20 to 30%, just so you're kind of activating that muscle. So it shouldn't be painful, but you should feel like that muscle is trying to activate. So again, holding it for about 3 to 5 seconds, relaxing. If you want to do it for time, like however many you can comfortably do in 30 seconds, you can do that. Or you can just do reps, like I'm going to do 10 or 15 for that 3 to 5 second hold. So once you do the exercise, you're going to go into a stretch. Now, a couple different ways that you can do a quad stretch. I like using the strap, but you do have to roll over onto your tummy. For a lot of people, that might not be very comfortable. So if this one doesn't work for you, I've got a whole bunch of other videos for quad stretches that you can do. But I like this one just because you can keep your hip in a neutral position, which is really going to get that stretch. Now, when I flip over on my tummy, I'm actually going to go to the other side just because it's closer to the camera, but you're stretching the side that needs the work, even though they might both need the work. So having a loop is really great with this. I'm just going to put it all the way around to my ankle, and then making sure the strap is nice and long, because when I roll over, I want to be able to just kind of put it over my shoulder like this. So I'm going to prop up on my elbows. You don't have to if you want to lie all the way down, if that's more comfortable. Make sure you're comfortable and not irritating something else while you're stretching. All I'm doing is I'm using the strap to pull my heel towards my bottom. I'm going to feel a nice stretch in that front thigh area where that quad is. The more you pull, the more stretch you can get. You want there to be tension. It's okay if it's slightly uncomfortable, but you don't want it to be painful. This is a traditional stretch, so you're going to hold it for 30 seconds. After you get to that 30 seconds, make sure you're coming all the way back down. That just resets that muscle. And then come back up and do that again. And you'll do that for 30 seconds, 3 times. And again, if you need to do both sides, definitely work on both sides. But the 30-second hold is the most important. So if you can only have time for 1 or 2, that's okay. But make sure you're doing that 30 seconds. So then we're going to go into the hamstrings. So the hamstrings actually cross that knee joint back behind there. And so if they're tight or if they're weak, they can really affect how that knee joint works and cause some pain. So we're also going to just do a hamstring set or an isometric exercise for this, just because these are kind of to get you started, get you going. If you have a lot of pain in there, you want it to be exercises that aren't going to flare anything up or cause more pain. So this time you're just going to prop your knee up, have your heel kind of ready to push down in there and get to a comfortable position. The height doesn't matter a whole lot, but if you can go a little bit higher, that does help a little bit more, but do what's most comfortable for you. So all I'm doing here is I'm almost bringing, the motion I would be doing would be bringing my heel towards my bottom, but I'm using the couch, the bed, or the floor to stop it. So I'm kind of pushing in at an angle this way. So I'm pushing this way, and that's going to activate those hamstring muscles right there. So same thing, hold that for 3 to 5 seconds, kind of relax. Only push as far as you comfortably can. So, you know, if you need to start off with that 20 to 30%, that's fine. Sometimes with hamstrings, they like to kind of cramp up on you. So I would say start off with less, and then if you can, if it feels good and doesn't feel like it's cramping, you can do more. But again, kind of pushing in an angle. So it's not necessarily down, that's okay. But if you can do more of an angle this way, that's going to help activate those hamstrings a little bit more. So again, that 3 to 5 seconds, you can do it for time or for reps. Grab that stretch strap again. And so with a hamstring stretch, again, probably the one I like the most is lying down, but there's a whole bunch of different ways to do it, even standing up. So you can check some other ones out if this one doesn't quite work for you. So this time you're going to take the strap and kind of put it at the ball of your foot. You don't want it so high on your toes where it's going to slip off. You can put it a little bit lower, but I kind of like in that position right there. I'm just then going to lie down. I like propping my other leg up. Some people don't, they want it all the way down, but I like it propped up a little bit. Try and keep your knee as straight as you comfortably can, and then use the strap just to pull your leg up this way. If you end up bending your knee, because it crosses that knee joint, then it takes away from the stretch. So even if you have to stop like right here, try and keep the knee straight if possible, because this is not really stretching my hamstring at all. But this is stretching it more than when it was up higher. So same thing, holding it for 30 seconds and then doing that 3 times. So then the next one is going to be for the calf. This time, when you put the strap around your foot, make sure it is kind of at the ball of your foot, not at your toes, but not low down into your arch, because this is going to help you get the best stretch. The calf muscles are kind of like the hamstrings, where now they come up and they also cross that joint. So again, it's important to have that knee fairly straight. If you have it bent, then you're going to stretch a different muscle. You're going to stretch that soleus muscle, which is good to stretch too, but when you're focusing on the calf, try and keep that knee straight if you can. So all I'm doing, I'm keeping my foot pretty loose. I'm letting the strap do all the work. And then I'm just pulling my toes and my foot towards me. And I'm going to feel that stretch all the way here. Some people feel it behind their knee. Some people feel it at the muscle belly. And some people might feel it kind of down at their Achilles tendon. So you might feel it at any point there, or you might feel it everywhere. So it's the same thing. It's that 30-second hold, doing that 3 times. So there you have it. Those were some stretches and exercises to relieve knee pain. Thanks again to Camvivo for sponsoring the video. If you're interested in finding out more about their products, including the advanced knee support with side stabilizers, you can click on the link up there. And remember, be safe, have fun, and I hope you feel better soon.